Guys, got the first of this week's breakdowns for UFC 30. This one's going to be at welterweight, Nicholas Dalby versus Tim Means. So you see they're about identical in reach. Means is a couple inches taller, and Means is 37 years old. Dalby's 36. And we'll start with Tim Means. So Tim Means been in the UFC forever. I think he made his debut in 2012. And he's been on a nice little streak here. He's got 2 wins over solid veterans there. Mike Perry has not looked too good, but Tim Means was able to kind of overcome a wrestling heavy attack from Perry in the first round. He was looking for the submission. Looked like he was trying out things, but then Tim Means was able to take that one over. Perry looked gassed. And then the win over Starpoli, that's another solid one. And then in the Daniel Rodriguez fight, that was D-Rod's UFC debut, and I think Rodriguez is a monster. But Means was going through a personal tragedy in that one, too. It's a shame he couldn't get the W because that was in his hometown, basically. But, yeah, he kind of got worked in that one. It's going to happen against Daniel Rodriguez, who is actually a common opponent between these two. Dalby won a pretty controversial decision over him. I'll get to that in a minute. But, yeah, you know, he did lose by standing guillotine, but it was a fight that he pretty much lost on the feet. And if you look at Tim Means, it's kind of, you know, win one, lose one, win a couple, lose one. And he does seem to be one of those guys that does lose to that next level, almost. He fought Nico Price. That was a pretty, you know, trademark Nico Price fight, just wild. And I think, yeah, he lost the decision to Bilal Muhammad. So when he seems to be fighting up into, like, the top 15 or around there, he does seem to be one of those guys that can't get past that hump, but he's right there. Like, he gives anybody that's kind of on that cusp, you know, a good fight every single time. And I'd say he's at his best when he can get in close. You know, he's kind of a brawler. The one thing I worry about is at this point, you know, it feels like, and I don't know if this is fair to say, it just feels like in MMA years, Tim Means is so much older than Dalby. And again, I just don't know. I think it's because I've seen so much more of Tim Means' tape, but he has gotten into some wars, and he has been rocked in a lot of his recent fights, even the ones he's won. So it is a little bit troubling. You just never know if this is going to be that fight where the chin is clearly going. And I used to not like to include that in my breakdowns and whatnot when I have that feeling. But I'm going to now because it always seems to come true. Like the last time it was Scott Holtzman against Gamrot. I said decision for sure because I just, you know, I thought Holtzman's chin was still holding up. But I just saw in that Dariush fight, it just looked like, you know, sometimes the way guys wear shots later in their career, it's just like, it doesn't look good. And I'm not saying that Tim Means is there, but he's close. And it could happen in any fight. You just never know. But then for Dalby, you know, like I said, he's coming off that definitely his biggest win in the UFC for sure, and this is his second stint in the UFC. But yeah, he got that controversial win over Daniel Rodriguez. I had Rodriguez in that one, and I thought he did enough. He outstruck him in the first 2 rounds, and then Dalby kind of took over the 3rd round. But I mean, it was a close fight, but I just didn't see how. You know, one judge had it 30-27. That was odd, because I thought there was clearly at least a round. I think round 2 was pretty clear for D-Rod. But you know, when you're looking at a fight result and you're trying to apply it to, you know, an upcoming fight, it's not the result that you're looking at. You're just looking at what happened in that fight. And Daniel Rodriguez is a big guy, but he does like to get in close. He likes to go with the hook, and he can. We saw him in his last fight. He can, you know, manage distance and just work that jab. He's got a great jab. He's got great boxing, great volume. But what Dalby was able to do, Dalby's got that karate stance always, was he was able to manage distance really well. Rodriguez had a really hard time getting in close, and Dalby was able to avoid the biggest power shots from D-Rod. And, you know, whether you think Dalby won the fight or not, there was a lot to like against a guy who likes to try to close distance when he's at his most effective in Tim Means. So it's definitely a worthwhile fight to watch for this one. But then you got that rear naked choke loss to Jesse Ronson that ended up being overturned after Ronson tested positive for a banned substance. But his first UFC stint Had a couple losses in there. Yeah, I know Zach Cummings, Peter Sabata. Had a draw with Darren Till. Was able to beat Elizé Zaleski dos Santos as a solid win, even though it was a while ago. But then he goes back to Cage Warriors as a great run there. And then he's been back in the UFC. And he looks better than ever. And, ultimately, guys, this one, I just got to go with Dalby. I think he's more technical. It's not that Tim Means isn't good. Tim Means always live. It's just, I got to go with the more technical guy. I really liked his last performance. Again, whether it was a win or a loss, it's just the way he was able to manage distance was really good. He's going to have to watch that front leg, leans on it super heavy. So you got to think if Tim Means' team is strategizing, I would always just try to attack the leg on karate guys, make them be Stephen Thompson, make them really make you pay for walking forward. But I do just see Dalby landing the more significant shots on the feet. He's worked takedowns in and top control in a lot of his decision wins, so I could see that happening again here. I don't really see a clear ground edge either way here, but on the feet, I definitely got to go with Dalby. I think it'll just be one of those where he's just a step ahead. But, really for this one, guys, the betting line is pretty good. I think it's, a line that should be flipped. You got Dalby as the plus odds. So I usually don't post my bets till Friday, but I'll tell you, I already put half a unit on Dalby at plus 124. I really like that. A lot of times in these close fights, it's got to be dog or bust. I think that's a pretty good line, though, for Dalby. And I would not at all be surprised if this line tightens up. I mean, we'll see. I never seem to predict those right. Last week, Chaos Williams started off at minus 176, and then that ended up dropping to minus 150. So I actually did play that straight after my video I initially said, because, I made that one last Sunday too. You never know this far out, but, it's kind of, this is the territory where you can make a lot of extra money though, because I usually like to look down the cards and I identify one or two fights that I really like, and those are the ones I get up early. But, I'm just saying that for you guys, it's good to look forward and, pick out fights that you see early. Because, like I said, I could see this one tightening up. But, yeah, I like this a lot, especially with the plus odds. And, I like how I looked at Tapology. It's always worth taking it with a grain of salt. But 457 votes, 66% are going with Dalby. So that's always encouraging when I get that read and I go and I see that I'm not the only one. So I am going with Nicholas Dalby, guys. I like this from a betting perspective quite a bit. And, so be sure to subscribe and take it easy.